I've been the most unhappy when I've been the most ambitious.
Hi, welcome to Rare Brook.
An excellent start.
This is why I couldn't act. This is why I couldn't act, because they'd go quiet on set, ready, and it would be so much pressure, and then they'd go action, and I'd be like, smash me. Today we're talking to Maya Sondhi, an actress turned screenwriter. In 2022, she became the creator and showrunner of a gripping police drama on ITV called D.I. Ray with Parminder Nagra. I'll cut that in a bit without having that massive pause. Canyon to remember name. Maya. So you started out in acting, obviously, LAMDA. Yay! Thanks. Moving to writing, was there a moment where you were like, mic drop acting, I'm over you, I want to say my own words, or?
I genuinely didn't go into it because I need, you know, like that whole thing, writing parts for yourself. Yeah, the parts for me were awful, the shocking, you know, the really boring best friend, lawyer, doctor, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. But I was frustrated. I was really depressed because I had all this stuff in me which I didn't quite realise. And my mum and dad for years said, I think you should write. And I always thought, no, I want to act. And I want to do all this stuff. And then at some point I realised, actually they were right.
Yeah, it's annoying that.
It's really annoying. Yeah, I hope they don't listen to this.
Yeah.
They still need to know it came from me. But I think what unlocked it was I was doing a panto, and there was a bit in the panto where I was like the kind of Buttons type character, the Buttons Dandini kind of in one, and I got this bit every performance where I could do whatever I wanted with the audience. It was like fun. A kind of stand-up bit, and it was just this tiny bit, and every single performance I looked forward to that bit, and I stood behind the curtain and I was like, right, and just kind of, and then I went out and just saw who was there and decided what to do on the spot kind of thing. But this stuff just kept coming out, and I had such a laugh. And then Hardeep Singh Kohli had written the panto, and he sort of grabbed me afterwards. He's like, you need to write, you need to get this stuff out, you know. And I'd already started compiling characters of people that I'd listened to conversations on the bus, and you know, funny things in, you know, that my mum had said, or family things. And I just didn't know what to do with it. So I sort of wrote it into a sitcom, because I was doing sitcom at the time as an actress. So I sort of, that was the easiest.
You were in Citizen Khan.
Yeah. I was in that.
Yeah.
So I decided to write it into that form. And then it just sort of happened from there, and kind of got an agent from that, and sort of all. And then I sat down with my agents and I was like, right, I really care about this. I was really bothered by kids and sexualisation of kids and bullying and images in the media, because I'd been doing some work with my friend's charity all about kind of consent and how they were dealing with all that stuff. And I was so bothered, and they were like, well, you should write that because you really care. And that became a play.
Oh, and so Sket was your first at the Park Theatre, I should add.
That didn't go on straight away. It like went on ages after.
Oh, and but that was kind of your like.
That was my calling card.
Your script. Calling card that was going out.
This is me. This is what I want to say about the world. And everything. But you asked,
and it was brilliant. I went to see it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I think we talked about it in our previous interview, where I was like, I'm pretty sure my old housemate put me into a play where a girl puts milk in the kettle.
Yes,
and I was like,
you.
That's me.
I mentioned you.
Yeah. And she was called Daisy, and she was an idiot, but we'll go past
No. You're like, no, there's versions of, not the complete, you know. If you were in something now, you'd be a goddess, Daisy.
Oh, thanks,
you would be a goddess. You are a goddess.
And it would be oat milk.
And yes, totally. Yes. And it would be like some kind of,
and it would be me being like,
super
got a YouTube channel. I can see it.
But you know, the acting thing is funny. Like I love acting, and I still love it when I get to do it.
Yeah.
But I love writing because you get to be at the seed of the idea. And I feel like acting, you come in at the last minute, and that's not as satisfying as seeing the journey of this idea and where it's gone, what it was, what it's been through. I mean, the goal for me eventually is to write something that I can then be a really fun character in, but not the lead, so that I can still enjoy it, but not actually but still be able to take a step back.
And, Lena Dunham in Too Much. Have you seen that show?
Oh, I've started watching. I need to finish it.
Yeah. I've just started as well. But I was like, oh, that's ideal. She's like a fun character. She probably has a great time on set.
Dip in and out.
So you do the best bit. But I suppose with writing, you get to really get across your idea and get across why now and why you're saying it and what you want to say and how you want to, I don't know, try and influence the world in some small little way.
Plus, I love being on set, and I actually prefer being on set as a writer exec than as an actor. It's
not stressful.
Exactly, because all my best work as an actress happens when it's not my shot.
Totally.
Just like, and then I was like, oh, that's how that scene should have played.
Oh my God, totally.
And it's too late now.
And it's on someone else. God darn. Yeah. Exactly. I always would be off camera watching the actors being like, I'm so glad I'm not you. I'm so nervous for you and this looks horrible.
I can't do what you do, and I have no desire to. I can't direct. I cannot understand how people do that job. I think it's incredible. It's not where not my interest, but I'm so interested in people who can do it, but I don't have that kind of brain. So I love working with directors and the actors who bring stuff, and then you go, oh my goodness, now it's our baby together. And I think people who write, direct and are in their own stuff, I don't know how they do it.
Terrifying.
I'm in awe. I don't it must just consume them completely.
Yeah, they're just entirely in that world. Do you, when you're writing, when you were writing D.I. Ray on your own, did you sort of miss the room feel? Is it kind of
I don't like working on my own.
You like that ensemble?
I love ensemble. Obviously there's times when you need to go off quietly and knock out a script on your own.
Yeah.
But since then I co-write now sometimes with a friend, and I've loved that experience. I mean, and I've never co-written before.
Oh yeah.
And it takes it's a very special kind of relationship, isn't it? Because you have to be able to be honest with each other, but you also have to be on the same page in terms of what you want to say, and the division of the workload. And it's like we're waiting to see if we can get a script commission, but in terms of doing we've done another script together, and then in terms of doing the pitch, because we come from an acting background, there's a way that we are with the dialogue which is really helpful because we're in the rhythm together.
So you think acting definitely has helped with the writing?
Definitely. But also just I just think I love people. And I know that's such a cheesy thing to say,
no,
but I
you
genuinely do love people.
You come at everyone with so much love, and it's like...
Or just come at them.
Yeah. It's sometimes like a train coming towards your face. No, I'm kidding. It's lovely, but you're bubbling over with love all the time.
Even on
so
holiday,
nice.
I can't switch off, because I went on holiday with the family to Crete, and it was lovely. But around the pool, I found this woman and this other woman, and they had such interesting stories. So I spent ages. I was like a prune by the time I came out of the pool, because I just stood there for ages chatting to them, and I just thought they were everybody's got such an interesting story.
Yeah.
Actually, anybody, if they wrote their story, it would be interesting, because no two people have the same story and the same voice, you know. So I genuinely love. And I love that side of our industry. I love that you can have an 80-year-old and a 20-year-old working together.
Yes.
And just sat there hanging out, having tea and just chatting about. I love the mix of people, mix of backgrounds. I think it's a very special industry. It's massively stressful too, but it's a very special industry for that, I think.
You're going to love this, George.
Oh my gosh, go on, hit me with it.
My next question, I might use the words mindset, and I might use the word manifestation.
Why do you hate me?
Why? Do you think your mindset helps you navigate this industry?
Do you know what? I don't even know what my mindset is.
Yeah.
I think it's trying to find away through the chaos
Yeah.
and just trying to find some clarity. I feel like having 2 young children is really, it breaks you, doesn't it? So this is my thing for me. That's mine, and I love it. And also, having the craziness of the kids reminds me that it doesn't matter as well, because they're my priority. They're always my priority. So that's why I got this tattoo done.
Oh my gosh!
This is their names in Sanskrit. This is Amma and Mani. But I got it done after I'd had a really stressful time with the show, and I'd spent a summer.
Which show was that?
That was D.I. Ray.
Right.
And I'd spent a summer with them, which was glorious. Well, you know, when you just do stuff and you just spend time together doing silly things, nothing particular, but it just made me go, you are what matters. You are the things that it's all for, really. So actually, I'd got that tattooed so that when I'm writing, because it's the way round that I would read it, not that somebody else would read it, I just flick my wrists and I can, if I'm getting like stressed or overwhelmed, I'm like, look, it doesn't matter because they matter. But also,
really nice.
you need to collect them from school soon. Yeah. So it's just a really good help as a reminder that,
It's like
it's 3 o'clock.
Don't put off that. Definite priority.
I mean, I literally have had conversations about like last minute changes or things like really important things or casting decisions or whatever at the school gate, and it's 3:29 and I'm like, right, I've got to go now. I've got to go in the school.
Oh my gosh.
It's just 3:30 because you take it right to the end,
Yeah.
push it right to the end point.
And do you think, as much as like they help you in your work stay grounded, probably you're a better mother because you get to go off and have your creativity?
I'm only a good mother when I can be creative. I am terrible. When I had this period where, you know, you're doing a lot of waiting to hear from people, and I was doing a lot of waiting and I didn't have a solid script to write, and I was unbearable because I was on them too much and worrying about me not doing it right. So I was criticizing my own parenting, and then I was getting annoyed with them for not being what I needed them to be. And actually it was just because I didn't have an outlet. And so I'm like, for example, yesterday I went on the train to Birmingham. I did a whole research day with some firefighters, and I came home and I absolutely loved. We had a really easy evening because I was throwing everything into being mum again, because I'd had my fill. And so, you know, everybody went to bed on time, everybody was calm, there was not that many meltdowns, and you know, everyone ate what they were supposed to eat, and it was good, you know, and I felt, okay, this is good, but I needed to have that
day of proper working. It's weird, isn't it? Maybe it's something to do with like the way you talk to yourself. Like if you're thinking of other voices in your head that you're getting down on the page, it kind of drowns out your own voice being like, oh, that's a bit shit the way you did that. Or so it's sort of filling your head with something else.
It's exactly, and that thing of I every interaction with the kids that's not gone very well, I replay it and think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. How can I have done that differently? What am I lacking that I couldn't handle that? You know, whereas when you're being creative, something happens with kids and you just move on because you've got other exciting things to think about in your head. And I think not that it's not important to think about your parenting, but I think obsessing about it is not healthy for anybody.
No, totally. I suppose I'm thinking back to when you first started. So like if we've got any emerging writers watching this or anyone,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed.
To the one person.
So for my mum, can you just make it clear for her?
And mine.
I think having lived with you for a brief period in our 20s, but like spending a lot of time with you, both of us, I think, struggled with having a positive mindset about this industry, and we both got very down about it. And I think almost what kids might have helped, but also just getting older and going through a lot has helped, is just knowing what you need to keep yourself at a certain level. Do you have sort of practices now that
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it is exercise for me is a big mental health thing. So it's that I've learned how to meditate that's not in a yoga class. And even if it's just like 5 minutes and I put a guided meditation on, that's great. I can try and do that. But also just connecting with a friend, just even a phone call or a text exchange. I mean, I'd rather see people face to face, but you know, even that, because I think we can all get in our heads a bit too much, and just by having a human connection, an interaction with somebody that you love, have a little laugh, have a little moan, have a little whatever. I definitely need that just to get perspective of the world, I think.
Yeah.
I love reading as well. I love reading a physical book, and I think that instantly calms me. It's weird, I don't know about you, but often when I'm writing, in the throes of writing, I can't read.
Yeah, because you get
There's
another
too
voice
many
in your head.
words, and then when I can have a break and read again, I mean, like I inhale books on holiday or on a plane or on a train journey or something, but yeah, it's just, I can feel everything rests. And I sound like such an old person now, but I love nature now. I love being in nature. I've loved scuba diving, but you obviously can't do that in London. But when I get a chance to go away and do that, that's amazing. But even just being in water, for me, being in a swimming pool, being in the sea, being near the water, being able to hear water, even having a shower.
Yeah.
I have like a shower just sort of seems to cleanse me at the beginning and end of the day. You know, like water, I find it even more so than like coffee or anything. It's just like really energizing. Yeah. I love like nature I love anything David Attenborough, and I can have seen it before and I can just put it on and you know that.
Yeah, his lovely voice.
But it's just the calm of the animal. These animals don't care about the script that I'm writing.
Yeah.
You know?
They're not interested in your character's motivation.
There was this little crab that was defending something, and it had like bits of anemone that were like little boxing gloves. The other day I was watching something in Parenthood. It was just really cool, and it just took me completely away from my whatever I was doing, and I was like, it's just obsessed with this little crab.
It's amazing.
And it was you need to do stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to. No, I don't think I'm going to admit this, but I have watched Country File a few times.
Oh my god!
And
she's grown up. She's got to middle age.
Slut dropping versus Country File.
You can be friends with her now, Georgia.
This is much more up my stream.
Georgia loves a good 45-year-old kind of chat or something.
But let's talk about manifesting. I think that's a word that's been overused and not really. It's just thinking things that you want, right?
Well, with your career, have you set goals and gone after them and tried to visualize them? Have you sort of been in that kind of
I know like what I want and I get excited about things, but in terms of like doing anything like
the Oscar speech.
No, God, no.
No, me neither. Me neither.
No, it's not in here at all. It's not off. It's BAFTA actually.
Yeah, we do better.
But no, I think I've learnt now to be grateful for whatever it is you've got, and yes, always push and strive and have goals, but I've been the most unhappy when I've been the most ambitious.
Oh, interesting.
Because you're not in control of it. And I think it's not that I've like lowered my expectations, but I'm just like, what will be will be. I'm going to go for that, but if that doesn't work out, I'm going to go for something else, and I will keep going for something else, because it doesn't, like, something will land. It will land. It's fine. And you know what? And if not, there's other things I can do or focus on or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
I think they used to that thing when we were training and stuff, is that you have to want it really bad. And if you don't want it, like, you're not serious about it. And it's like, no, actually, you can want things really badly and you can be really passionate about them, but you can also have a sense of what the rest of the world is doing, and you know that there's other things going on that aren't like are more important, you know, than this, you know.
Yeah.
But I wonder if I had more of a competitive side, would I be further along than I am now? I don't know. It's something I think about a lot, because I genuinely don't. I just don't. I'm like, you go for it. You win. You win. I'll be happy. Number 2. 3, 4, 5, whatever. But it's not because I don't want it. It's like, oh, if you're better, you go. You know, it's like, I don't know.
And how's it been going from leading your own show to more sort of ensemble situation again?
Honestly, it's so great because there's no responsibility. Amazing. I don't have to watch any things at the end of the day. I don't have to give any decisions about casting. I don't have to do any of the other stuff. I just get to have fun writing that episode, and then I forget about it.
Amazing.
And it was really, really nice. I mean, I'm ready again now for a show running thing, because I'm ready. I feel like I've had my nice mix and nice break and stuff. Because it is so consuming. And what happened on series 2 was I was supposed to have 2 writers with me, and I was maybe going to do the first and last episode, and then they were going to do, you know, the 4 in the middle, because we had 6 then, because at the first series we only had 4, so I wrote all 4. But it soon became apparent that I was going to need to do 1 in the middle, because for flow and continuity. But then one of the writers, he didn't like the process, so he left, which was like, I was like, you know what, I don't want you to be unhappy. And it was outside forces that he didn't particularly like. It wasn't, we worked really well together, all the 3 of us, but I sort of like said to him, look, I don't want you to be unhappy, and absolutely go. And, you know, but that meant that I had to then pick up his episode, lock myself into in my friend's hotel room, because he was filming in London for a day, quickly rewrite and turn around his episode before I was going on holiday, like the next day. And then, you know what? That turned out for me to be the best episode of the series.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Because it was done under so much pressure. And you had to go with all your instincts. And it was, you know, no procrastinating. That was it. Like, the tension in that episode, I think, was the best, because it was actually
you were feeling
tense.
it.
But yeah, so
so
that was really hard. Because then I obviously had to not overwrite, but you do a pass of the other scripts for tone, because it's my voice.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then you're also across like who's being cast as what, and you know, we're going to have to move this to there. Can you rewrite this? We don't have that location anymore, and it's constant. So people think you write it and it's done, and then it's just being filmed. No. Every day there's something.
They're still writing, still filming.
I've been on set where I've had to do rewrites on set and hand over to some, you know, that kind of. And I know it's always a bit chaotic and crazy, but that was particularly so.
Yeah. But you are ready, you're in the space where you do that again?
Yeah, because I feel like I know more now, and I feel like I can help other people and give potentially some chances to people who are emerging.
Yeah.
Have them in a room, hold their hand, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully give them an episode if we get a show. That kind of stuff. And I want to exec again and be a more hands-on exec. I was a learning exec first. Because,
DIRA, you're an exec.
I was learning from the others. I was asking them, because there's 3 execs on it and I was one of them, but I was more of a creative one. I mean, I would turn up with donuts and samosas on set and like cheerlead, but I didn't understand all of the technical stuff. Like when, you know, in the post-production and you know, giving notes in the edit and stuff like that kind of stuff. I was learning all of that.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I know more about that. I'd like to be more clued up and hands-on.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
I think everything will happen in the time that it's meant to happen, and everything will come when you're ready. And I think if you rush it, you're forcing things and you might fail. You're more likely to fail if you rush into something you're not ready for. I think that's like life, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
although sometimes the alternate advice is like, you're never going to be ready, just do it. So
there's
it's
that
nice
too.
to hear that too.
No, there is that too. I don't know. I think...
But yeah, there was a lot of frustration about a timeline.
Yeah.
Especially when we were
You don't have
so
to achieve
young.
this by then. Actually, there was an actress, sorry, it's a bit of a tangent, but there was an actress on telly the other day in a comedy, and she's I think she's in her 60s, and I've seen her in a few things recently, but I've never seen her before that. And she might have been around, but just working, but I've never noticed her. And I said to him, I was like, this is brilliant. Like, she's amazing. She's in her 60s and she's in everything now. This gives me hope about our industry, about you can have your time at any moment. I think that's what keeps people in it though as well, isn't it?
Yes.
You can have your time at any moment. And
so they're like 95. Someone needs a 95-year-old.
I've got this self-tape to do. Hang on, let me just switch off Country File.
That's when I'm going to find my casting. I'll be like, 95, yes, I'm the last one standing. You got no other choices.
Everybody else is dead.
I'm Daisy Atkins, I'm a writer.
And I'm Georgia Tennant.
I don't need to be anything.